First of all, let me thank our elders. We have our elder who has just finished a beautiful traditional prayer. And I think it's important for our youth to know that before we were enslaved and taken to Europe and all over the world, before we were colonized, we used to have our own way of worshiping our God through our ancestors. We used to pray under a big mango, under a big tree. We used to reserve part of that beautiful ocean for honoring our ancestors. We used to preserve some wildlife, some plant species which we did not eat because they were reserved for ancestors. So we have taken it upon us as AICA to develop and maintain a tradition where everywhere we meet, every time we meet, even if we have our modern prayers, we still want to have an elder grounded in the community in which we are meeting to offer a traditional prayer to invoke our spirits. And I'm glad, Madam Hawe, you made an effort that we were able to continue this tradition in Cameroon here. So thank you. Let's give a big hand to an elder, to the elder who prayed for us. Let me recognize government officials, sector staff who may be here. I know many of them will be coming during the main plenary, maybe tomorrow. Our traditional leaders, we have one from Cameroon here, and our chieftaincy from Zambia, Southern Africa. Our donors, and the other partners that are present here. I know RRI, Niatero, and others will be coming. I don't know who are already here. Please, we are welcome, Erin, representing RRI. Without the support of our donors, we wouldn't have made it this far. Let me also recognize members of the steering committee of AICA. Let me also recognize members of the executive committee, and then also the AICA secretariat, who have worked very hard to make this event a success. And we also have an organizing committee, the bigger and the broader organizing committee, but also not forgetting the local organizing committee, every led and managed by Madam Hawe, who is with me at the front here. Let me also recognize our expert trainers and the facilitators, and all of you, ladies and gentlemen, and our youth. Somebody said we need energy in the room, and I'm expecting energy from our youth, because the IPLC youth are not soft, are not idle, they are very active and energetic. So I hope that facilitators, you will help me to get plenty of energy in this room. Let me begin by extending greetings to you all from the Alliance for Indigenous Peoples and Local Communities for Conservation in Africa. That's the full name of AICA. It's an alliance of indigenous peoples and local communities affected by conservation-related issues. And that is what brought us together. So I'm greeting you in the name of AICA, its entire membership from across the 5 regions of Africa, and also allow me to also recognize everybody who may not be from AICA but have chosen to participate in this important program. So, how do I greet you? Habari zeni. Habari zeni again. Great. Good morning. Bonjour. Bon dia. I wish I was taught how to greet in the local Cameroonian language. Can you do it for me, Howard? Jam. It is with great pleasure and satisfaction that after months and years of planning, I stand before you. Of course, I'm sitting to deliver my humble remarks at this launch ceremony for the AICA Youth Fellowship Programme. It is a unique program that will train future leaders that will continue championing the cause of Africa's indigenous peoples and local communities. This program has been in the making for a long time. It has taken us months and years, and I'm happy that today it is finally taking off. It is through the young people that are gathered here today and many others to follow in their footsteps that will sustain the momentum and the aspirations of the inaugural African Protected Areas Congress in Kigali, Rwanda, where AICA was born in July 2022 through a resolution passed during the Kigali IPLC declaration. So the idea of setting up AICA, a continental body representing the interests of indigenous peoples and local communities across Africa, was born in Kigali 2022 at a huge congress known as African Protected Areas Congress. In AICA, we believe that the IPLCs and our youth are actually nature, and we are part of that nature. So acknowledging our oneness with nature, our shared destiny with our youth, and our expressed desire to collectively address our conservation-related challenges, please allow me to share some key issues with our youth that underpin our common struggle as AICA and IPLCs. So I just want to run through some of the issues that our youth here and the Youth Fellowship Programme will try to address, and over which our youth will also be trained. So what are the founding principles of AICA? We have a few founding principles of AICA. One of them is that as indigenous peoples and local communities, we share the same conservation-related challenges. We share the same colonial history. We share the same challenges relating to land rights, relating to human rights, relating to human-wildlife conflict, and relating to criminalization of some natural resources on which our livelihoods depend. This is a protected area. You cannot go in there, you will be arrested. So these are some of the issues that brought us together. When we talk of human-wildlife conflict, an elephant does not discriminate if this one is a guardian for an IP, or if this one is a guardian for a local community member. An elephant will look at your maize, at your corn, at your whatever crop you're cultivating, just as food. So conservation-related challenges affect all of us, whether you are an IP or a local community. Hence, our collective vision to work together as indigenous peoples and local communities in Africa. As a result of these shared conservation-related challenges, we need to work with unity. We need to have a sense of collective agency. We need to act in unison so that together, working together, we can be stronger and deliver ourselves from the challenges, the conservation challenges that confront us. So AICA, from what I am already saying, you can see that AICA stands for transformative change. Well, we have talked too long about rights, the rights of indigenous peoples, the rights of IPLCs, the rights of women, the rights of youth. So what next? We want AICA to help us move beyond awareness of these rights, to translating these rights into tangible actions or tangible benefits at the household level. Because we will only be who we are based on what we have achieved at our household level. And for those of you who have a background working in conservation, we normally say that the decisions whether to poach or to deforest that beautiful forest is made at a household level. So unless the benefits of our rights, unless the benefits of conservation can reach that household in the rural corner of Cameroon, of Ghana, of Sierra Leone, of Zambia, we will not get anywhere with our conservation efforts, with our struggle for rights. Then some of the key issues that I guess and I hope the fellowship program will go through are as follows. We have one issue that has to do with unaddressed historical grievances and trauma. This is a very big issue. Many of our indigenous peoples and local communities still suffer from the displacement from their ancient ancestral lands. And now these lands are home to pristine, protected areas which they cannot access. These protected areas still bear the bones of our ancestors, but we cannot go there freely to honor them and worship them. So this is a historical trauma. These communities who were displaced, most of them up to now still suffer from landlessness, or they have occupied land that is marginal and non-productive, or they have been relocated in areas which is not in their cultural place. So they are now become strangers after being moved from their ancestral homes. So these are some of the historical grievances that we expect to be addressed. How do we address these ones? One, we expect our governments to recognize that these grievances do exist. And where possible, if I remember properly, in the IPLC declaration of APAC, we specifically requested for recognition, reconciliation, and healing over these historical grievances. And then moving forward to address these historical grievances through restitution. It's a tall order, but that's our high bar that we have set. Then another issue that is very important to us has to do with insecure pure land is the accepted truth or the accepted dogma. It is not. I am here to say that before enslavement, before colonialism, our ancestors had access to land. They owned this land and the resources on those lands, and they managed these lands through traditional governance systems, and that is what enabled our enslavers, our colonizers to come to Africa and find these pristine natural resources, whether it is wildlife, whether it is forest, you name it. And yet today, somebody has determined to say that Africans, indigenous peoples and local communities are inherently destructive and therefore cannot conserve natural resources. As Africa's youth and indigenous peoples and local communities, I urge you to challenge that falsehood. Whatever is here today, it is here because our ancestors looked after it, using our own traditional governance systems and our own traditional knowledge systems. issue I want to highlight is the issue of draconian laws, draconian conservation laws. These days, it is not uncommon to hear that one can be imprisoned for 30 years for being found in possession of a Congolese, of maybe an elephant tusk, or that special plant species. Yes, I mean, we know that wildlife crimes do happen. We know that poaching is a crime. We know that unwarranted and wanton destruction of forests is a crime. But then, one wonders, do you really have to punish somebody for up to 30 years? Just because they have been found with an elephant tusk? Just because they have been found with that pongolin or whatever it is? Where is our feeling for the family of this man? Are we not destroying this entire family with that type of law? And yet, as I speak now, and some of you can already conceive that in your respective countries you have such laws. The question we want our youth and all AICA members to challenge is, were these laws made with the interest of Africa's people at heart, or there is a hidden hand that was behind proclamation of these draconian laws? We were taught, and we continue to be taught, that these laws are necessary for conservation. But you and me who are working in the conservation space are aware that in fact these laws have created or have hardened attitudes against conservation among our people. So I want our youth to put this issue at the top of the agenda. We should work towards a situation where our penal code around conservation laws should move towards reformation, changing attitudes, not killing entire families, not killing entire youth. If you imprison a father, a mother for 15 years, you certainly have wiped out that family. So I want people to take note of that issue, particularly our youth. Then another issue I want to bring to the fore is unlocking the economic value of conservation. I think you and me know that many of our pristine national parks, game reserves, forests, minerals, are in fact not benefiting indigenous peoples and local communities. I'm sure this is a fact. And yet we are the custodians of this wildlife. We are the custodians of all these minerals. They are there because we have been there. That's why I would say we are nature, and nature is us. So, our youth, I want to challenge you. You are the people, the generation that is going to challenge these things. Why is it that when I'm in Kenya, the businesses that are in Masai Mara, in Serengeti, in Kruger National Park, in all the protected areas across the continent, you hardly see any authentic African business. So these protected areas, much as we're proud of them, much as they are keeping some of our iconic species, the bottom line is they are not benefiting indigenous peoples and local communities. Whether you are living in a city as a child and of an IP, whether you are living in the village with your chief, you have to know that you are not sufficiently benefiting from these natural resources. We must find a way of unlocking the benefits from these natural resources. In Southern Africa, we have what we call community-based natural resource management. And we have some form of it in East Africa. I know KWCA, the Conservancies. I heard some models, similar models in Liberia, in Sierra Leone. But the bottom line is, the business model that we are using is fundamentally flawed, such that it will not benefit our people. What typically happens is the community has been granted rights to this particular conservation space, to this particular landscape. The model says you must go and look for an investor to invest in this landscape so that you can get benefits. Is that not a winded, convoluted business model? Why can't we allow our own investors from Africa, from our own country? Why do we have to look for somebody from elsewhere to come and invest, and then he gives our people, the owners of the resources, the owners of the landscape, some pitas? So there is a huge issue around the benefits, fair and equitable benefit sharing. Let me say it as it is in the CBD treaty. So our youth, I want you to take this challenge upon yourself. If you are in Zambia, you should ask yourself, why are you not benefiting from South Ruangwa National Park? If you are in Tanzania, if you are in Uganda, ask yourself why you're not benefiting from that park. So this is one big issue that we need to address through this Youth Fellowship Program, because these are issues that we will not deal with in our generation, but we are hopeful that the next generation that we have in this room will be able to handle these things. Then there is also the issue of institutional governance and capacity. If you look at across Africa, you go to West Africa, you go to North Africa, you go to East Africa, all over Africa, there have been laws that have been passed allowing communities to participate, indigenous peoples to participate in conservation of these natural resources, and maybe to some extent benefit from these natural resources. But then you look at the organizations that have been established through these laws. Most of them are small, weak, and fragmented. Why? It is because not much has been done in terms of capacity building. So you may have a conservancy, you may have that community organization, you may have that IPLC organization, unless you sort out the capacity in terms of governance, unless you sort out the capacity in terms of technical and operational capacity, you end up with situations where these community IPLC institutions are captured by a few. I think in development circles, it is known as elite capture and corruption. And we believe it is the youth who are in this room who will undergo this program that will begin to challenge that, yes, we have this conservancy here, but why is it that this same guy, this same lady, has been chair of this conservancy for the last 25 years? Why not give way to others? So these are some of the issues. We have elite capture, we have corruption. Much as our governments, with good intention, have given us space to participate in conservation and benefit from conservation, sometimes the finger should point at ourselves. So we need more resources to invest in capacity building, governance, technical capacity, and operational capacity. Last but not least, and there are more, there is the issue of sustainable and direct financing for IPLC organizations. These days it is fashionable to claim that, or to say that landscapes which are managed by indigenous peoples and local communities have got more sustainability, have got more resilience than those that are managed through what we call the fortress command and control conservation model. But then, where is the money to support these community organizations to conserve? The financing model for conservation remains fundamentally flawed, and it has been flawed for a long time. The model is that you have big donors in the West who channel money to big international NGOs, the bingos, and then the bingos dole out the pitas to their national partners, and the national partners, because they are broke and desperate for funding, they clap hands even when they are getting crumbs. We see all the conservation money being burnt on Land Cruisers, on hefty salaries, on hefty consultancies, on procurement from wherever the money has come from. The question that we want to ask in this room, that our youth should start asking, is why is it such a difficulty to channel this money direct to IPLC organizations so that we can spend more money at the point of impact? So this is a whole political economy issue around it, and it is young people in this room that I'm challenging for you to start questioning these things. And you can only address a problem by identifying one. So I'm telling you, we should question, why is it that the money still comes through the same bingos, and these bingos are not using the money where it is required? Right now, there are a lot of good voices, accommodating voices among donors to say more money should go to the grassroots, the IPLC organizations. Good intentions, but we need to translate into practice. So these are some of the issues that we have to ask ourselves. So having laid out the issues that young people of today and those who will come in your footsteps through this program, we want you to take on board, to internalize, and in your daily work to start challenging and questioning. What are our expectations of you for this training? Number one, we would like you to take this training very seriously. Madam Howard here has lamented and actually mentioned about the difficulty we went through to convince our donors, RRI, Niatero, and others, to give us money to bring you here. So it will be a shame and a waste of time and resources if you do not take this training seriously. We also would like you to participate fully. Please stay away from your WhatsApp, from social media. Focus on the training. It will help you. And also, I would also urge you to ask who are not clear. Ask the facilitators. We have got very able and friendly facilitators who are in this room. Please ask them questions. If not in a group, you can ask them questions maybe during tea break or wherever. Don't go out of this room with unanswered questions that you may have. And when you go back, disseminate this knowledge through your social networks, back in Lusaka, whether you live in Johannesburg, you live in Addis. Disseminate the knowledge to your circle of young people that you have left back home. And also, I would like to declare that from now on, consider yourselves as part of a cadre of AICA leaders. Not just for the future, even now. So wherever you will be, wherever you are, please hold these issues at heart, because if they don't affect you as a youth directly wherever you are living, they affect your mothers, they affect your grandparents, they affect your community somewhere in the village. So, in conclusion, let me express my sincere and profound appreciation to the Office of the Honorable Prime Minister, the Government of Cameroon, for allowing us to hold this General Assembly and to launch the Youth Fellowship Programme here. I must recognize the Office of the Honorable Prime Minister did quite a lot to help us get our visas. So apart from allowing us to come here, there was also a lot of background work that was done by some government officials to get us into this room. Let me also appreciate Madam Hawe and her local organizing committee. they have done extraordinary work. There was a time when me as chair, I was desperate. I was almost giving up that we may not make the trip. So let's give a big hand of applause to Madam Hawe and her local. Then let me also recognize the tremendous work that has been done by the main organizing committee and the AICA steering committee. Wonderful work. Another hand of applause for them. Also, let me approach our Council of Elders and the chieftains here and our elder here for agreeing to join this new platform, new AICA platform we are calling the Council of Elders. It is a platform that we are going to launch during the General Assembly. In the past, we have never had such a platform. The reason we are launching it is because we believe that our elders, our traditional leaders, should be in the background with us, guiding us. Even during time, we will break time. If my chieftain is here, if my elder on the left here sees that one of my statements was not correct, he can whisper to me during break time to say, no, chair, that statement was error. So that's why we have brought them in. In Africa, we believe our youth should be guided. So it is in the same belief that we believe the AICA leadership should also be guided by the wisdom of our elders. And let me also recognize and thank the expert trainers and facilitators who are here and our youth who are the focus of this program. With these remarks, let me officially declare the AICA Youth Leadership Fellowship Programme officially open. A big hand, please. Asanteni, thank you, merci beaucoup.